Hello, so I have a dog here. I'm visiting my sister this week and she has a dog, so I posted a video recently about growing out of clothes and throwing away clothes that no longer fit, but I didn't really include any messages that I wanted to include. So first of all, when you're going through recovery, it's really important to wear comfortable clothes. So like loose fitting clothes that are stretchy and just make you feel comfortable, because recovery is intense. I mean, like, it can be sad. It can be physically painful and definitely mentally tough. But like when I was going through recovery, definitely in the first few months especially, I'd feel really bloated, really uncomfortable in my body, and it was not helpful to wear clothes that would draw attention to how my body was changing, I guess. So one of the things that I did when I first started recovery was that I bought a pair of really comfortable stretchy pants. I wore those every day for the first stage of recovery because they were just really comfortable. They stretched as like my body grew. Then as you progress through recovery, most people going through recovery will gain some weight. Not everyone, depending on the nature of the eating disorder, but most people will. It is important to accept that your body is changing and to buy clothes that will fit your changing body. It's really not helpful to try and squeeze into old clothes that no longer fit. Unfortunately, of course, that can be a bit expensive, buying new clothes. I personally like to buy clothes from op shops, which are a bit more affordable. Wearing clothes that actually fit properly and are the right size makes a huge difference to like my body image and my comfort, and yeah, I cannot emphasize that enough. It's important to remember as well that like nothing changes about you when you go up a size or two. Yes, you take up a bit more space now, but that's not a bad thing, and your worth doesn't change. You're still the same person. It's just that now your body is a bit healthier, which is a wonderful thing. For me, as I've progressed through recovery and my body has changed, I've had to accept that my body doesn't look like it used to, and my body was never meant to look like that. And I'm 25 now. My body is going to look like a 25-year-old's, not like a 17-year-old's, or like the 17-year-old version of me, because I've grown up. Like, my hormones have changed, I'm older, I don't look the same as I used to, and that's okay. So we're going shopping today, which can be a bit of a challenge. I can't do it with your face like that. The lighting is not good. Now you can see random people. Oh, that's better. No, this is good. Usually I choose clothes 2 sizes up and then sort of work my way down. I find that's a bit easier. I don't have any other tips. Oh, great start. Anyway, we're gonna have a coffee first, and I'm going shopping with my sister because I'm visiting her this weekend. So that's all I have to say. Okay, so I want to finish this video. The lighting is not ideal, I know, sorry, and you might hear some music. My sister is playing music and cooking dinner, which is nice of her. But I just have a few more things to say in this video before I wrap up. So I did go shopping. I bought new pairs of pants, a couple of new tops, and a new bra and underwear as well. I try not to think about the sizing too much, and actually like the sizes for different stores and different brands varies a lot. Like a size 12 for one brand will be vastly different to a size 12 in another brand, so it's essentially meaningless. Like it's really a metric for each brand rather than any kind of metric for what we should think about ourselves. Like the size, as I said earlier, just it means nothing about your value or your worth or what people think about you, how much they like you, if they care about you, if they love you. The size of your clothing does not matter. I also wanted to just acknowledge that through recovery up to this point, my body has developed in a societally acceptable way, if not like quite a desirable way. And to be honest, like with my bra size, I've gone up like 3 sizes since I started recovery. And for one thing, it's really annoying because it's very expensive. Like bras are not cheap, and a bra that does not fit right is so uncomfortable. And anyway, so now I've got a bra that fits me well, but I need to buy some more. So that's one thing. Like growing out of clothes is just expensive and annoying, and I think we can acknowledge that, but it's also like it's really necessary if you can afford it to get clothes that fit. And yeah, but the other thing that I wanted to say, and I'm not quite sure how to phrase this, but like for me, having my bra size go up is actually kind of triggering in a way, because one of the underlying triggers for my eating disorder, I suppose, was that I hated how desirable my body was. Like as I went through puberty and got bigger and grew up, I received a lot more attention from males in particular, like catcalls and just like the male gaze, and that definitely led to some situations that were very like uncomfortable and kind of challenging, and I'm not going to go into the specifics because this isn't my therapy session, but I guess I just want to also like say that I guess I want to acknowledge that for some people, growing out of clothes, like being in a larger body can be like really challenging, and because of perhaps like previous traumas, or because of people who feel uncomfortable being in a more sort of curvaceous or like feminine body shape. And I totally, like, those feelings are totally valid, and like I have, through my recovery, through my first attempt at recovery and through my attempt now, I've definitely struggled with the feeling that now I'm in like a more feminine adult body, that my physique is now much more sexualized and like objectifiable. I think that's the word. That makes me super uncomfortable, because like people from all sort of walks of life, men in particular, think that like comments about my body because it's like feminine or something are acceptable, and it's like it's not acceptable. There are a few things that I say to myself that help me when I feel really uncomfortable in my body because I feel like it's being objectified or something like that. One is remembering that even when I did restrict heavily and use my eating disorder, still as a woman I encountered sexism and like catcalls, and maybe they weren't as frequent but they were still there, and so maybe the male gaze was not as prevalent when I was skinnier and deeper in my eating disorder because I didn't look so feminine. But also there were huge costs to that, huge costs. Like I was miserable. I had no social life, I had no freedom or spontaneity, I was totally caught up in my own head, and it was just absolutely awful, and it's not worth it. What's underlying all this is how much I despise sexism and like the notion that female bodies should look a certain way and that it's okay to objectify women, etc. And by restricting or listening to my eating disorder, I'm essentially playing into anti-feminist propaganda that women should diet to maintain their figures. And that is not something that I believe at all. Like, to restrict my food intake or to appear as though I'm dieting or supporting the diet mentality totally goes against my values. And so I really think of, I've said this in a previous video as well, that I really think of eating freely as a feminist statement, because women have been told that they should diet and that their bodies should look like the photoshopped models that we see on television or magazines or whatever, and I hate that. I hate that. So I try to remind myself of that so that I continue to eat unrestricted. Regardless of how I am treated by males, or I actually don't have control over what my body is gonna look like. Like, I could try to exert control through my eating disorder, but that would ultimately cost me my life, and it's not an option. So I've accepted that I don't have control over the shape of my body, and people can say what they like, but this is how I look, this is how I am, and I can't change that. Over time my body will change as I grow up, if I have kids, etc. I eat for my life. I don't eat to shape my body a certain way. I didn't recover to try and look this way. I've recovered for my life. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that the size and shape of your body is simply a side effect of the greater goal of recovery, which is to reclaim your life and survive. So I guess my point there is that if you're feeling guilty or bad, or like you've done wrong because maybe your clothes have gone up a size or 2 or 3 or 4 or more, you haven't done anything wrong, because ultimately the size and shape of your body is not within your control. It's determined by a whole range of factors, both genetic and environmental, and we just have to accept that this is how our bodies are gonna look, and also accept that they will change.
So clothes shopping can be a really triggering experience, particularly early on in recovery. So I'm a couple of years into recovery now, and my body has looked this way for a while, but initially in my recovery, when I had just sort of gained quite a bit of weight, I did find clothes shopping difficult because I found it really quite shocking to look into a mirror and see the person looking back at me who looked quite different to how she had looked a couple of months ago. But that does get easier with time. Your brain adjusts to how you look now, and your body image improves as well. So if you do feel uncomfortable looking at yourself in the mirror, with time that will definitely improve, and I really urge you to just stick it out for now. So I'm gonna wrap up this video now. We're gonna have dinner soon, and then I think we're gonna watch a movie, which will be nice and relaxing. And yes, of course, we will have dessert because I cannot go to sleep without dessert. So thank you for watching. I'm sending you lots of love and courage on your journey, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.